5:45, welcome back. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and this morning we're sharing the story of one local survivor and how she's being honored.
1 in 3 women across the U.S. have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner. But Dana Hamp-Gulick is not just another statistic.
It's kind of like you can throw anything at me and I survive that, I'll be okay.
It's been nearly a decade since she found the courage to remove herself and her daughter from an abusive relationship.
On average, it takes women 7 attempts to leave. I think it took me 3 or 4, but I always tell people I couldn't leave until the day I could leave.
And like so many others, Dana faced several challenges and dangers along the way.
I was essentially being held captive in our apartment. He was guarding the door. He wouldn't let me leave.
The most complicated part of the process, she and her daughter were living with her ex-husband in Hawaii.
I couldn't leave the state with her or it would have been federal kidnapping.
But when Dana saw a brief window, she took it.
We ended up leaving and living in a domestic violence shelter for about 3 months, followed by about 6 months at YWCA in Hawaii.
They were eventually granted a flight to freedom through the courts.
We arrived home after 4 years in Hawaii with 2 suitcases and each other.
Dana and her daughter have been living in Lancaster ever since. And she's made it her mission to help others going through similar situations at Domestic Violence Services of Lancaster.
That's why it's so critical that we have these services that can help women and survivors navigate and figure out what can and can't they do in getting away and starting their new lives.
Dana has been honored as a catalyst for change for her work with DMS and plans to continue sharing her story to help end the stigma surrounding domestic violence.
And there's no shame in not knowing how to get out. That is part of the trap of domestic violence.
And to provide a sense of hope to those who need it most.
Life afterwards is possible, that you will find yourself again.
And there are many correlations between domestic violence and human trafficking. It's just one of the many topics we'll be covering on our hour-long special happening this week. An Invisible Cage, The Truth About Trafficking in Central PA, airs this Thursday at 6 p.m. right here on Fox 43.